Hey there, Baker Belts here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about iAwake Technologies Brainwave Entrainment tracks. I'll give an overview of what makes their tracks different from something like Holosync or Hemi-Sync. Then I'll give a brief synopsis of my personal favorite tracks. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. My name's Baker, and I'm a consciousness explorer, among other things. I've already made a few videos about brainwave entrainment on the channel, including a deep dive into my experience with the Gateway Experience tracks, and a video discussing the difference between Holosync and Hemi-Sync. I'll leave a link to those videos in the description if you haven't seen them yet. I first started using the iAwake tracks in the year 2021, about a year after I got started with the Gateway Experience. My first purchase was their flagship product, which is called Profound Meditation 3.0. I found the tracks so effective that I got really excited about them, and I started collecting other tracks on the site. They have occasional sales, so I was able to get them for cheap, a lot of them, which was great. I currently have 8 of their standalone tracks in addition to Profound Meditation, which has like more than a dozen tracks. They're all great, and I use them all. The iAwake tracks are brainwave entrainment, but unlike something like Holosync or Hemi-Sync, which only uses binaural beats, they've developed a complex system of entrainment that uses a bunch of other processes as well. They call it the iNet process. The iNet process is the invention of the track's original designer, a guy named Eric Thompson. In addition to binaural beats, they use harmonic layering, isochronic tones, frequency modulation, and an invention of Eric's that he calls biofield entrainment technology. Basically, what Eric discovered is there's a way that you can encode different quantum signatures into the tracks. These signatures interact directly with your aura or bioenergetic field and have positive effects that last for hours after the entrainment session is over. To be 100% honest, I don't understand how this stuff works. I only know that it does work. I've had the gift of clairsentience since I was in my early 20s, and I'm extremely sensitive to changes in my personal aura. And when I listen to these tracks, there's a noticeable and profound alteration in my field's energy. Before I dive deeper into their flagship product, which is Profound Meditation, I want to talk about the track that I use the most. My absolute favorite iAwake track is the track Audio Serenity. In the description, Audio Serenity is called a drug-free digital vacation from stress and anxiety. It begins with frequencies in the alpha range and then slowly moves down to the theta range over the course of an hour. But what sets this track apart is that when you listen to it, the frequencies that are embedded in the track naturally cause your brain to release endorphins. You know that feeling of euphoria you get like after a really good workout? It feels exactly like that. It's incredibly relaxing. When I first bought the track, it was my go-to solution for relaxing at the end of the day. I found it to be a much healthier alternative to things like having a beer or a glass of wine at the end of the day. And honestly, it makes you feel better than both of those things. When I first bought the track, I listened to it every single evening for months and months, the hour before going to bed. There's a free 10-minute sample of this track on their website if you sign up for their newsletter. For me, it starts working within 30 seconds, so if you want to try it for free, you can definitely get a taste for it. All right, now on to their flagship product, Profound Meditation. Profound Meditation is a full solution for developing an ongoing and ever deepening meditation experience. It's designed to be something that you can use for the rest of your life. The way the technology is designed, it's not something like Holosync where after a certain period of time, you have to go to a deeper level for it to keep working. The way the iAwake tracks are made, there's so much complexity going on that they continually work to stimulate your brain over time. It comes with a lot of tracks. The primary program comes with 3 tiers of increasingly stronger tracks, which are targeted at deep meditation in the delta range. Each tier has 3 tracks that are 20 minutes long each. Then there's 3 tracks which are called releasing tracks. These tracks are a little bit gentler on your brain and they target the alpha and theta ranges instead of going into deep delta. Releasing track number 1 is my favorite track of the entire series. It takes you into the alpha range and is really relaxing. I find the biofield frequencies in this track to be the most rejuvenating. On the days when I don't want to do a full hour session, I usually just listen to the 20 minutes of releasing track 1 and make that my brainwave session for the day. So there's also 3 tracks in the epsilon range, which is deeper than delta. So they start at like zero point 0.1 hertz, then go down to like 0.001 hertz. Um, then there's 3 tracks in the gamma range. Gamma speeds up your brain instead of slowing it down. These are the brain waves that were found in experienced meditators when they did brain scans on them. They're also the frequency that channelers go into when they're channeling and that athletes go into when they're in the flow state. And then finally, it comes with a bonus track called Digital Euphoria. I really like the Digital Euphoria track. It has quantum signatures that release endorphins and serotonin. It's an hour long, and you generally just feel really good when you're listening to it. Research has shown that your brain experiences maximum growth when subjected to varying stimuli. So, with so many tracks to choose from, you can mix and match any 3 tracks to make a custom hour session for any given day. For instance, you might listen to one delta track and then deepen your meditation by listening to an epsilon track, and then spend the last 20 minutes recharging by listening to one of the releasing tracks. And then the next day, you could do something completely different. Yeah, so that's profound meditation. Let me give a brief overview now of some of the other tracks that I own and like. The first track that I bought after Profound Meditation and Audio Serenity is called Infinity. This track targets the lambda range of brainwave activity. The lambda range is the extremely high frequencies that are above the gamma range. My experience of this track is that once the lambda frequencies come in, which is during the last 20 minutes of the track, you enter into a state of like hyper alertness. A state's kind of hard to describe, but it's like everything just comes into super sharp focus. I find that I can't do this track more than once a week because it really accelerates your brain, and that causes a little bit of stress on your nervous system. But the hyper aware state that it induces feels really good, and it's great for concentration. Another track that I use is called The Spark. This track uses a completely different and unique entrainment process that was invented by a guy named Javi Otero. It uses something called bilateral stimulation to create the relaxation response. It kind of sounds like there's a sparkler that's like moving back and forth. For me, it elicits an ASMR response. Like you just get like chills and tingles that go down your whole body when you're listening to it. I usually start feeling relaxed within a minute or two of starting the track. The feeling's really different from other brainwave stimulation. There's a 5-minute demo of it on their website if you'd like to get an idea. For me, it works within that time frame. Next track I'm going to talk about is called Audio Chi. Again, I don't know the exact process that Eric Thompson uses, but he was able to sample the quantum frequency of a Qigong master. For me, when I use this track, it feels exactly like receiving a Reiki treatment. There is a tangible healing energy that flows through your system when you're listening to it. And the sound of the flowing stream is also really calming. All right. Final track I'm going to talk about is called Heartwave. Behind Audio Serenity, this is probably my favorite track that I use the most often. Again, this technology is so advanced, I don't know how it works, but listening to this track causes your brain and heart to move into a state of coherence. It's very similar to the coherence meditation that was developed by the Institute of Heart Math. But instead of actively having to do a meditation, like you just listen to it and like you instantly move into coherence. You feel calm, relaxed, and peaceful. There's two 20-minute tracks that are music tracks, and then one track that's 20 minutes that's just the sound of ocean waves. I use the ocean wave track the most frequently. All right, if you're still with me, now I'm going to talk about the aspect of these tracks that moves into the realm of science fiction. Now, I don't blame you at all if you don't believe what I'm about to describe. If somebody had told me this before I experienced it personally, I wouldn't have believed them either. These tracks, because of the entrainment technology behind them, they work with or without headphones. They obviously work better with headphones, but they work without headphones. But they also work whether or not you're actively listening to them. You can play a track on silent and still receive the benefits. I know that sounds crazy, but literally, you can start playing a track on your device and set the volume to 0, and you will still receive the biofield energies embedded in the track. When I first read that in the documentation, I was like, yeah, right, no freaking way. But I tried it just to be certain, and I was like, holy crap, it actually works. Again, this is like the realm of science fiction. I think it has something to do with the quantum field and how the tracks were embedded, but I honestly don't know why it works, but it does. The original inventor of the iAwake products, he went on to start his own company called Subtle Energy Science. And those tracks are where science fiction meets the realm of magic because he sells MP3s that are silent, like zero actual data in the file, but they still have the effects that are advertised. I might talk about those products in a future video. Yeah, so there's a lot more I could say, but I don't want this video to get super long. I'll leave a link in the description to their website. If you sign up for their newsletter, then you can get a 10-minute sample of 6 of their tracks, including my favorite, which is Audio Serenity. So that's 60 whole minutes of brainwave entrainment for free. If you're on a budget, you could probably design an entrainment routine just using those 6 tracks. Yeah, so thanks for sticking with me and thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next video.